one thing everyone wants to do is lose weight. I think everyone, whoever comes across, they will come and say, I want to lose weight. Uh, Biggest thing is that they'll say, I'm okay overall, but I just want to lose my belly. Most common excuses are that my schedule is really busy. I have so many things to do. I can't wake up in the morning early. I can't sleep, or I'm a night owl. So a lot of excuses are around not having time. So if you put your health as a priority, then you will make time. And when your motivation is really high, you tend to overdo it, right? You spend 1.5 hours in the gym every day, but when you overdo something, you can only do for a very short period of time. So your motivation is not going to last forever. It's what gets you started, what keeps you going in discipline and realistic goals. So over exercising, of course, it makes an impact. When you're overdoing something, anything, if you do too much, it is going to impact. People forget the nutrition bit. They only focus that we're going to do hit training, or we're going to do 1 hour of crazy zumba workout or something, and they forget about the nutrition bit. Cravings is the problem. It kicks in when you do not have enough food in your body, you do not have enough protein in your body. Also, water intake makes a big difference.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new episode of our Microbiome Superhero podcast, where we are focusing on a very different aspect. So, we have always talked about the gut microbiome and gut health, and there are so many different factors that impact gut health. One of the important factors that affects gut health is exercise. So, we have here a very wonderful fitness expert from the UK. So, please welcome Aiesha Khalidi, entrepreneur of Shred and Shape. Welcome, Aisha.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Rashmi, for that amazing introduction. So, hello everyone. My name is Aiesha Khalidi, and I'm the founder of Shred and Shape. I have been in fitness for the last 4 years. I've transformed myself. I've lost 15 kgs myself. I'm a mom of two, 45, almost 45. And I run an online fitness program, for group programs for women to lose weight and make fitness a sustainable and a part of your lifestyle. So that's what I do. And I'm really happy to be here and shed some light on some myths, I think, that we want to burst. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rashmi.
Wonderful. So, welcome, Aisha, once again.
Thank
And,
you.
when I first met you, I remember saying that, I thought you were in your 20s. I never would have imagined that you are 45, that you just mentioned. Because fitness is something that keeps us looking younger, that keeps us healthier, that improves so many different parameters of gut health. We always focus on all of these things. But when we talk about gut health, and when we ask people whether they're exercising, or we tell people that they should be exercising, there are so many different, misconceptions that we hear from people. There are different kind of excuses that we hear from people, either that they are exercising, they are over exercising, they're doing something very complicated, or they just don't have the time to exercise, or I'm too busy to exercise. So
Yeah.
these are some of the things. So what is it that you hear? Over exercising or not exercising at all? What are the kind of things you hear, and how do you go about clearing both those extremes actually?
So, I do a lot of social networking, and I meet a lot of people on a daily basis, other than, being a coach. And, one thing everyone wants to do is lose weight. I think everyone, whoever comes across, they will come and say, I want to lose weight. Uh, Biggest thing is that they'll say, I'm okay overall, but I just want to lose my belly. So that's one of the things that people do say that. People generally will come, no one comes, not many people come for over exercising, but a lot of people do come for not having the time to exercise. I think the most common excuses are that my schedule is really busy. I have so many things to do. I can't wake up in the morning early. I can't sleep, or I'm a night owl. So a lot of excuses are around not having time. And my biggest tip to everyone is that we all have 24 hours. Everybody, even Bill Gates has 24 hours. We have 24. Ambani's have 24 hours. We all have 24 hours. It's how we prioritize what is important to us. What are your priorities? So if you put your health as a priority, then you will make time. we earn money. When we buy a new car or we buy a new house, we spend so much money, cleaning it, keeping it, in top condition. We'll buy cleaning products. We will make sure, our car is taken for a wash. The seats look nice. But when it comes to our health, we kind of leave it on the side. We don't really put it as a priority of what we are eating. Are we spending that time to actually, look after ourselves? So these are the most common excuses, is like, lack of time, because they are busy, especially in women. Asian women especially, I would say that, we put our family is a top priority. We put everybody, so your kids, your husband, everyone will be on, that priority level. But when it comes to yourself, it's like, okay, I'll do it later. So, we procrastinate our own health. So I think these are the most common excuses that people come, is lack of time. I think it's all about priorities. It's all about your, what do you want to really achieve.
Yes. So when I say over exercising, what I mean is that when people come to us to join our program, they
Yeah.
say that they have a lot of chronic diseases, but they say that, oh, we are already exercising. We are spending 1 hour in the gym. We are spending 1.5 hour in the gym. And what we feel is that they are actually over exercising, that is creating stress. So do you see anything like that? Because that's not giving them the kind of results that they require.
Dresses.
Do people actually need to exercise for that much time?
Yes, you're very right. There are a lot of people who will come with a lot of motivation. So, they set themselves a goal that, okay, I'm going to lose this much in this much time. So the motivation is really, really high. And when your motivation is really high, you tend to overdo it, right? You spend 1.5 hour in the gym every day. But when you overdo something, you can only do for a very short period of time. It's not sustainable. All right. So, your motivation is not going to last forever. It's what gets you started, what keeps you going, in discipline and realistic goals. So I think one of the key things about, people setting themselves very hard goals, they are more result oriented rather than process driven. I think that's very, very key, because your goal is to lose the weight, or your goal is to just achieve or look a certain way or fit in a dress size. I think that is where the problem is. Your goal should be how you feel every single day. Your take one step at one time. So over exercising, of course, it makes an impact. When you're overdoing something, anything, if you do too much, it is going to impact. To keep fitness as a part of a sustainable process, you have to have realistic time. So if you're spending, half an hour to 45 minutes 3 to 4 times a week, is more than enough to actually lose your weight, to keep yourself healthy, to keep yourself fit. If you can do more than that, then it's brilliant. All right. But nutrition plays a big part. So it's not just about how much you work out, it's also what you eat in and you put in your body. So people forget the nutrition bit. They only focus that, we're going to do hit training, or we're going to do 1 hour of, crazy Zumba workout or something, and they forget about the nutrition bit. And I think that's the reason why there's a very yo-yo pattern. You will lose the weight, you will see some results, but it's not sustainable. So you're going to go back to your old habits, and it's all going to come back. So yes, I think over exercising, or exercising to just achieve a certain goal and going crazy after it, is not something you should be doing. You should have a sustainable platform. You should have sustainability in what you do. Has to be very, very consistent. And being process driven is more important, doing the things in the right way rather than just achieving your goals. So I think that's where people actually do go wrong.
Yes, so you talked about a very important point, that it is also linked to nutrition, and nutrition is something that people don't pay attention to. Although they say that they eat a very healthy diet, it's not
Yes.
matching what they are exercising. The kind of exercise that they do and the kind of nutrition that they follow does not match. The amount of protein that is required, or whatever else the energy requirements, are not considered when people are doing all of these exercises. So all of that
Yes.
is very damaging. We see both these extremes that you also talked about, either not exercising because of so-called lack of time, or over exercising on their own, which creates stress. So it is important that we need something that is sustainable, because this is not something that's a one time thing, that we lose weight and then it's over, we don't have to do it for the rest of our lives. It is something that we have to maintain. Fitness is
Yeah,
something that should
absolutely.
be a part of our life. It's not
Yeah.
just for a few months or just a short term thing. So
Yes.
you said this very important point, where it has to be sustainable. So when
Yeah.
we talk about sustainable, what is it that you recommend? You said that something as easy as 30 minutes a day and 3 days a week. We always recommend 150 minutes per week, which is ideal, but I know that most people cannot reach the ideal limit right away. It takes a kind of
Yeah.
discipline to get there. There's habit formation that needs to happen. So the kind of changes that you have talked about are really great. I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody can manage, because if we consider 1 hour or 1.5 hour, that's not going to fit into the lifestyle. If we
Yeah.
consider our entire lifetime, that is something that
Yeah.
is not really doable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when people come to you, what are the different kinds of exercises? Now we are talking about many different age groups. So let
Yeah.
us consider the adult population here. We are talking about young adults, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s. A lot of them have not even started exercising. So what are
Yeah.
the things that they need to consider, because our bodies are changing according
Yeah.
to our age?
Yes, absolutely. So, see, every age group has their own challenges. Right now, if we talk about our 30s, so in your 30s, your bodies are still strong. They can still do a lot of things. So in your 30s, I would say, if you're a person who never exercise, you start with basics, really basics, what you learn in school, jumping jacks or PT exercises that we learned in school, actually. So, you can start with some basic exercising. When you start doing your basics for a complete beginner, there are so many platforms you can see beginner videos that can help you to really start getting your journey. All right. Now, people who are younger can get away by doing, high impact exercises. So they can do, high intensity exercises, high impact exercises, because their bodies recover much quicker. Versus when you go into your 40s and post 40s, your body recovery time is much different to what your body recovery time would be in your 30s. So considering to start, if you're starting in your 40s, because it's never late to start any form of exercise, you just have to adapt in the age you are, and then you can build the strength to do any kind of exercise, right? So, but if you're in your 40s, you would probably want to do low impact, low intensity exercise. For example, I'll give you my own example. I started in my 40s. So I lift weights. All right. So, I started lifting my own body weight. Then I started lifting weights as well. Now I have realized that, someone who is probably in their late 20s or 30s can lift heavier than me. Probably I would do more sets and reps of lighter weights, then, lift heavy, just so that, because that's my body type, that will be something that I will consider according to the age I am in. So I will lift lighter and do more sets and more reps, because the recovery time is much more in when you grow older than what your recovery time would be in your, even in your younger days. So, low impact exercises, high intensity exercises, so you have to adapt where you are. As you go into your fitness journey, you get stronger no matter what age you are, and then you can change the way you do. There is no need of suddenly to start, exercising crazy, because I think that's where people go wrong. They are like, okay, I'm going to do this. They take the gym membership and they're very motivated and they'll start doing these exercises, but when your body is warm, you don't feel it. The next day you will see that you have soreness in your muscles, and then that's going to put you 3 days behind because your body is really paining. So yes, type of exercises, start with light workouts, stretch, start with a warm up, do some yoga, stretches, poses, get mobility exercises in. Mobility exercises are so underrated. As we age, we have to make sure that our joints are flexible, our joints are healthy. So mobility exercises is something that everyone should incorporate at least twice or thrice a week in their routine. Do it for 5 to 10 minutes, and it's absolutely fine. Again, exercise is very subjective to what you like. Simply just walking is also an exercise. There is a body weight exercise. So, for someone who's a complete beginner and doesn't know what to do, start with 10K steps every day. Go for mindful walks, do brisk walking, enhance that. Then you can start to do some body weight exercises at home, or if you get a gym membership, then you could probably go to a gym and do it. So exercising is very subjective. My top tip is that when you are younger, your body is far more capable of recovering sooner and lifting heavier, doing more high impact exercises or high intensity exercises, versus when you go into your 40s or, late 40s and start post that, you want to start a bit slow. You have to really look after your body first. So I think that's the only thing I would say. Any form of exercise is okay. You can do swimming, you can go cycling, you can do, Pilates, you can do yoga. Any form of exercises is okay as long as you move, because our bodies are designed to move. The moment you sit down and you do nothing, that's where all the illnesses and the diseases kick in. So I think that's my top tip. As I said, if you don't spend time looking after your body, you're going to spend time going to the doctors and getting your other issues fixed, because it is going to come back to you.
Yes, those were some very easy tips when you talk about just doing these activities or doing very easy exercises. You don't really need a gym membership. So that is an excuse that people give. Oh, I don't have time to go to the gym, or the gym is too far, or the membership is too expensive, or all of it
I
is
started my
combined.
journey when I was
But
in COVID, when there was nothing open. I actually transformed myself at home. So yeah, it's
yes.
not hard.
So
It's
there are
not
so
hard.
many things that we can do at home just by using our own body weight, even if we talk about the weight training, if we talk
Yes.
about strength training, and if we talk about the different age groups, that
Yeah.
there is muscle loss happening at a
Yeah.
specific age. We keep losing
Yeah.
muscle, as you said.
Yeah.
So when we talk about even the 30s, 40s, 50s, especially when women are menopausal, even in men, there is a lot of muscle mass that is reduced in that age.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
what are the kind of exercises that you would recommend for people to keep their muscle mass, to maintain their muscle mass?
there
What are
must
the things that people should be
see,
doing
Dr.
regularly?
Rashmi, one of the thing is that post 30s, till 30s, your body looks after yourself. Post 30s, you have to start looking after your body. You have to start really caring about it. Every decade of post 30s, you lose about 2 to 8% of muscle mass in the body, which is quite a bit. And
Yes.
this process accelerates post 40s even faster, post 50s even faster. You need your muscle for your strength, and you lose your strength. Now this is one of the reason why, when we grow older and we don't exercise, I'll tell you how you can reduce the process, but I'll tell you the effects of what happens when you lose muscle mass. So you lose muscle mass in you start from your 30s, you'll accelerate in 40s, you'll accelerate in 50s. What happens is then you don't have the strength in your body, and that's the reason why, when people grow older in their probably late 50s and 60s, they'll have, hip broken or a joint broken, is because their bodies don't have the strength, they don't have the muscle, right, to kind of hold their body together. And that's really, really important. How do we control or how to minimize this is simply by resistance training or strength training. And I think that is so underrated, and that is so important across everywhere, especially for women as well. People think that strength training is bodybuilding or muscle building. I mean, I have been strength training for the last 4 years. I am nowhere muscular. I'm not a gym, like, those bulky big gym muscles or something. So that's a myth. But I think the number one thing that people can do is, one is have enough protein in their diet. Really, really important. Protein is not just for bodybuilders. Protein is a very, very essential macronutrient. It's a requirement for us. And I think, making sure you get enough protein in your diet, probably every meal should have a little bit of protein. Just to give you a quick snapshot, it should be at least 0.8%, of your body weight per gram. So that's how much protein you should at least ideally target to eat. The other thing is that you need to strength train, resistance training, strength training. That will help you to retain your muscle mass, and that is really, really important, and that will keep your strength. So I think, keeping your diet really well, really, really good diet, a protein rich diet, and resistance training will really help you, to reduce that muscle loss in the body once you start aging.
Yes, so muscles are really underrated, as you said, and people think that, oh, we don't want to look muscular, so they don't really focus on
Yeah.
eating protein, as you said. But if we think of what our muscles do, our
Yeah.
heart is a
Yeah.
muscle. It is pumping blood everywhere, and if we don't support muscles, the
Yeah.
muscles are the organs that are keeping our structure intact. They are holding our bones, and
Absolutely.
if we don't support muscles, we are going to lose the function of many different organs, because organs also have muscles in them. The other
Absolutely.
important thing is that muscles take up sugar in an insulin independent manner.
Yeah.
So by having more muscle, we are actually improving our insulin sensitivity. So that's one more reason why we should focus on building muscles. So you talked
Absolutely.
about zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. That is the
Yes.
least minimum amount of protein
Minimum
just for
amount.
maintenance, which people actually need to build muscles. I think people need a lot more than that. But zero point 0.8 grams is something that most people absolutely do not have in their diet, even for
No.
the basic maintenance. So that is something that we need to make people aware of. That protein is a very important macronutrient. You must have it starting from breakfast, then lunch,
Every
and
meal
dinner.
should
If you
have a little bit of
spread it
protein,
out,
because
yes,
protein also takes longer to break down than your
yes,
carbs and fats. so you feel fuller for longer. Most of our diet is very much focused on carbs and fats, and that's why you eat a lot, and after some time you're going to be hungry again. So I think yes, protein also has a role where you feel fuller for longer, so your body can keep going for a longer period without having to go for another meal. So, and that is correlated straight away with your weight loss or your weight gain diet. That happens. So yes, it
Yes,
is
the
really
more
really
protein we have, the less refined flour we are going to have, the less carbs we are going to have, and the less
absolutely.
cravings we will have for unhealthy foods because
Yeah.
people will feel full because of the
Yeah, you
protein,
use the
especially.
right word, Dr. Rashmi. Cravings is the problem. It kicks in when you do not have enough food in your body, you do not have enough protein in your body. Also, water intake makes a big difference. So it's sometimes you're not hungry, you're just dehydrated, and your
Yes,
meal portions are really, really weird. So I think a balanced diet, when people say, is having protein, good carbs, and healthy fats. Uh, and that's it's how hard is it? It is actually really simple, but our lifestyles have become so fast these days. The food that we eat is so processed, so heavily processed, that asking people to eat clean food feels like a diet. Asking
yes,
people to use simple home cooked meal is like, oh, on a diet. But that should not be the case, because that's how it should be, right? You should indulge eating sometimes, but these days it's more like 3 to 4 times a week we are indulging, and once or twice in a week you're cooking, and it's like, oh, I'm on a diet. So I think
yes,
the
you said it.
priority.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So, if we just remove these misconceptions and go back to the normal way of eating, I think majority of the problems will be resolved. But
absolutely.
people tend to go for these fad diets, if we talk about the keto diet or whatever diet, and then do these extreme forms of exercising. Now, there are many
Yeah,
trending exercises also, like the soleus. So, what do you
yeah.
think of all these trending exercises? Do they actually work?
Now soleus is and I mean it is a great exercise for your legs. All right, it does work your calf muscles, and it pumps blood back into your heart. Right now, for people who have a sedentary lifestyle, like they're sitting and working for long hours, it is really really helpful for them to kind of do the exercises. Just while you're sitting, you can just do. While you're watching television, you can do it. All right, but that's not the only thing you should be doing. It's like a small part of your overall exercising that should not be compensated for your movement around, or your in general exercising. So it is a great way, because it helps you pump blood back to your heart. It does help you with your, to regulate your glucose levels in the body, because it is regulating your blood, and therefore balancing your insulin levels as well. So it's a great exercise while you're sitting and doing. You can build it as a habit to do that exercise when you're sitting for a longer period of time. But that's not the only thing that you should be focused on. It should be your overall body, making sure you are actually looking after your entire body, not just doing soleus exercise, and that's not going to solve a lot of problems for you.
Yes, you said that right. So if we talk about different kinds of chronic diseases, now you said that people need to exercise, but
Yeah,
now we are looking at a lot of people already having chronic diseases. Even people in their
yeah,
40s already have diabetes,
yeah, very young
pre-diabetes,
age,
high
you're
blood
right. Yeah,
pressure, high cholesterol. It's at a very young age. So
yeah.
is it something that they need to look at when they have chronic diseases? What are the different kinds of exercises? Is there anything specific that they need to look at?
I think it depends on what. For example, if someone has back pain, okay, it's a very common thing that people are having back pain. Now, people, one of the reasons why is because of the smartphones that you're using. You're constantly sitting like that, or your posture is wrong when you're working. So there are a lot of factors that are there. For any kind of chronic disease, I would say consistency, keeping it very simple is very very key. So you do mobility exercises, all right, which will really really help you. So some mobility exercises that becomes like a part of your routine, like every day you spend 10 to 15 minutes doing that. It will really help you to kind of build that strength back, work on the muscle group that is weaker, rather than focusing on doing something extreme. I think that's the key. Strengthen the muscle. So if someone, knee pain, joint pains are the most common things that people have. Especially when you go past your 45 of 45s, you'll see people when they wake up, their knees are paining, or when they are standing for too long. So these are the things that you need to strengthen the muscles around it. So work on building strength, as I said. Work on mobility of your body, and don't have to do something too extreme to fix it, because it has to be sustainable. I always believe in sustainability, because if you do something consistently, you will help yourself in solving a certain problem. So yeah, if you have a back, for example, back is the most common thing in young people these days. And I think stretching, doing some yoga exercises for that, mobility exercises for your back and strengthening those muscles is really really helpful.
Okay. So if somebody has a pre-diabetes or diabetes, are there some exercises that you would recommend for reducing
Any
blood
form
sugar?
of exercise is good. As I said, our bodies are designed to move. There is, unless you have an issue, like maybe you have a broken leg or you have certain issue, that's the only time I would say that you have to make sure that you don't work a certain part of your body. All right, but if you have diabetes, PCOD, these are the most common lifestyle related diseases. These are all lifestyle related and they can be very well reversed as well. So any form of this, there is nothing that stops you from exercising. Again, my top tip when you're exercising in any form is that any exercise, form of exercise you do, you know your body the best, right? So when you do a certain exercise, it should not feel hurt, painful. Like if you're doing any movement, it should not feel painful. It should feel challenging, it should feel hard, because that's, you never done it or you're not used to doing it. But the moment you feel that it's hurting, that means something is wrong. You understand? So you are the best judge of your body. You have to see how you feel. Now what you would exercises to what I would do will be two different things. So it's also a preference and liking, but there's no form of exercise that you can't do. All right, but if now somebody who is an asthmatic patient, I won't tell them to start running marathons, right? I mean, that's something. Then you can do, gentle breathing exercise, start building on your asana, start building on doing, lot of breathing pranayams and things like that, that will really help you to kind of help that problem. But any form of exercise can be done. As I said, the most simplest form of exercise anyone can do is walking, honestly, because you are actually walking with your, so you can start with simple walking and that will really start helping you, do 10K steps a day. There's a reason why people say 10K, because you are in a mindset where you walk 10K, you are active throughout the day. So staying active throughout the day is very important, rather than just doing your 10K in the morning and then sitting on the couch for the entire day. That's not how it works. So my thing is that you can do any form of exercises at any age. As I said, you know your body the best, you know what you really like. All right, and if it is not painful and you think it's challenging and it's something you like, you can start doing it. So yes, any form of exercise is absolutely fine. It doesn't stop you because you are diabetic to do. It's the diet or the nutrition that is what you need to watch, not the exercise, really.
Okay, so you talked about the 10,000 steps, and there's one very important point that you brought in here, that it should be spread out over the day, because a lot of people say that, oh, I'm going to get my 10,000 steps, and they end up walking either in the morning or evening in one stretch,
Yeah.
or usually it's a one long stretch, and then the whole day they are sedentary, they are on working on
Yeah.
their laptops or whatever it is. And is that really effective? That walking just once a day and being
See,
sedentary the
walking
whole
is a form of
day?
exercise. So I look at it as like if I do my workout in the gym or at home for like half an hour, 45 minutes or an hour, that doesn't tell me that, okay, the rest of the day I'm not going to move. As I said, our bodies are designed to move. That's the reason when we have rest days, it's called an active rest day. So you need to move around. Moving around means even simply walking up in the house. Now a lot of people, that clients that I get, are hybrid working, so they work 2 days from office, 3 days from home, and their biggest issue is that they can't even get 2000 steps in a day. So you have to build a habit, active walking, that if you target every hour you're working, every hour you spend 5 minutes actively and mindfully walking, that you just get up and walk around in the house. If you're lucky where the weather is nice outside, you take a break and walk. When you put your headsets and you're talking with somebody, walk if you don't need your computer in front of you. So there are a lot of things you can do, but yes, it has to be an active lifestyle. It doesn't mean that you do your bit in the morning and then you are like just sitting the whole day. It doesn't help. What you need to increase, what the point I'm making over here is called something called as NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. All right, this is more important than even exercising, I believe, because this really helps. So this is your all activities, whether you're washing clothes or you're cooking food or you're just doing basic chores in the house. So this is your NEAT, non-activity exercise thermogenesis. which will really help you to burn those calories throughout the day, to stay active, to get your blood flow moving, to to be in that active zone while you are throughout the day. And I think people need to really work on their neat alongside with the exercises as well, where they are not sitting down for too long a period of time, because our human bodies are designed to move. And if you sit for longer periods, that's where you'll start that your back is hurting, your neck is hurting, suddenly you get up and your knees are hurting. So these are all the illnesses that start coming because of a sedentary lifestyle. And yes, you have to, as I said, you have to move and increase your need throughout the day, and you see how much of a difference it does. If you're on any kind of fitness or a weight loss journey or strengthening journey, it does make a big impact.
Yes, those were some amazing things. So, do you also recommend any post workout and pre workout meals to fuel the body in the right way? Is that something that you talk about?
Post work, sorry, I didn't get the question. So post
A
workout supplements.
pre-workout drink or something that carbs to fuel the exercise and something post-workout. So if we talk about proteins, it is best to eat something that is protein rich after the workouts, and maybe some carbs or good quality carbs before a workout. Is that something that you recommend? Because we have heard very
See,
different things from different
it's a myth
trainers.
again, as I said. It is entirely up to your body. All right. So it depends. Now, for some people, they can have they can just have water and they can work out on an empty stomach and works fine for them. For a person like me, I would have maybe a small coffee and two dates before I work out, because I start my workouts really early in the morning. So I can't do it on an empty stomach. But it doesn't matter whether you're having pre-workout, post-workout, as long as you stay within your nutrition or your quantification of your meal, you will hit your goal. It's a myth whether you have to drink a protein shake immediately after your workout because your muscles can absorb it much more. That's a myth. You can have it any time of the day. It doesn't matter, as long as you hit your goal for protein throughout the day. It's fine. And it's very individual perspective. It's a myth that, okay, I have to have this carbs before I start my workout because it'll give me the energy burst. Of course, carbs are going to break down into glucose, and that's going to give you a spike in your body. But it's individual based. Do you want it? Do you don't need it? There is nothing that says that you should have something. No, that have to have something before you work out or after you work out. It is absolutely a myth. You can have it any time of the day. You are the best judge of your body. If you feel that while you're exercising and you've not eaten anything before that, your energy levels are dipping, try having something before it. And if it works for you, then great. And for some people, it works after exercising. So yes, it's entirely up to you what you eat. It's all about how much you eat, rather than when you eat, what time of the
Yes.
day you eat. So yeah,
Thank you.
that's
Those
yeah.
were some really amazing tips about exercising, about what we can have, and the simple forms of exercising that we can do even using body weight. We don't need something fancy going to the gym. So thank you so much, Ayesha. Those were some really insightful points that we heard about.
My experience. Thank you for the opportunity. Lovely to meet you all.
Those were some amazing insights from Aiesha Khalidi, the fitness trainer from the UK. We try to bring a lot of different insights about how to improve the microbiome. And did you know that fitness is a great way of improving the diversity of the gut microbiome, of improving gut health? So if you have not started exercising till now, do start today and stay tuned to more such insightful podcasts.